F1 is a sport of precision, but when it goes wrong, it gets expensive. Very expensive. The 2024 Formula One season wasn't just a battle for the championship, it was a war against the forces of destruction, with some drivers leaving a more costly trail than others. These staggering numbers have left teams and fans in shock. Welcome to DRS Speed Hunters. Let's explore the top 10 destructors of the 2024 F1 season, exploring the damage, the drivers behind it, and the effects it caused across the paddock. Now, while fans enjoy the thrill of high-speed racing and the occasional drama of crashes, the teams face a very different reality. Behind the scenes, crashes are financial nightmares that drain resources and challenge the already tight budgets imposed by the sport's regulations. But before we break down the staggering expenses incurred by F1 teams due to crashes, let's dive into the data. Starting with the basics of what makes an F1 car so expensive. An F1 car is a marvel of engineering, but with innovation comes a big price tag. The cost of constructing a Formula One car is substantial, with estimates ranging from $12 million to $25 million, depending on the team's resources and technological investments. The power unit, a critical component, is particularly expensive, with estimates ranging from $12 million to $15 million. However, due to Formula One regulations, power unit costs are typically excluded from crash-related calculations. Instead, the focus is placed on the aerodynamic and structural parts that are more susceptible to damage during impact. Now, here's a breakdown of the approximate costs for key components. The chassis is about $1 million to $2 million. The gearbox is approximately $320,000. Then hydraulics, costs can vary, but it gets up to $155,000. And then rear wings, again, costs can vary, up to $100,000. Front wing, up to $300,000. And the steering wheel, even, is approximately $50,000. Crashes usually involve damage to these high-cost areas, making even minor incidents expensive for some teams. Now, let's see what drivers cost their teams the most this season. Number 10, Esteban Ocon, at $1,625,000. Esteban Ocon's 2024 Formula One season was all about control, risk management, and trying to prove himself as a worthy driver time and time again. The total crash cost of $1.6 million, he's in the middle of the grid's destructors list. Ocon, not the cleanest driver, but also not the costliest either. Esteban's damage was not from a few crashes, but several that were significant but not necessarily race-ending. While some drivers got into multiple high-impact crashes, Ocon's mistakes were small errors that resulted from underestimations rather than negligence. In terms of performance, the year was quite up and down for Ocon. Although there were flashes of sheer class, such as good qualifying performances and top 10 race finishes, he was unable to sustain a serious title charge. Car development at Alpine was not on par with some of the best teams in the paddock, and this put Ocon and his team Pierre Gasly on the back foot. Number 9, Lance Stroll, $1.887 million. Now, as Lance Stroll approached the 2024 season, the outlook for his performance remained unpredictable. Stroll's teammate and renowned experienced driver Fernando Alonso provided an invaluable comparison point, allowing him to measure his skills against a competitor of exceptional profile. While Aston Martin had a strong showing in 2023, the 2024 campaign turned out to be a challenging one, hampered by a car that was increasingly difficult to handle. Stroll's season opened with moments of promise, but then soon declined into a series of mistakes. The first few races were enough to demonstrate that Stroll could bring home points finishes. However, the AMR24 consistently struggled with balance, and his handling issues left the driver vulnerable in side-by-side battles, making him an easy target for opponents. Of course, the costs of Stroll's season can't be denied, but it is useful to remember these figures about the racer's results. Nevertheless, Stroll was able to score points and secure finishes in several races and demonstrated the maturity expected from an F1 driver. Number 8, Fernando Alonso with $1.959 million. Now, the two-time world champion whose skill and tenacity made him one of the best in the world was involved in a rather volatile season that saw Aston Martin lose $1.959 million in crash expenses. The AMR24 was not only unbalanced but aerodynamically challenged as well, and at times it felt like more of a setback than a race car. This instability not only affected Alonso's results but also added to a series of crashes that cost a lot of money. Even though Alonso is usually smooth on the track, the AMR24 was responsible for many of his crash-related expenses this year. Unlike other drivers of his generation, Alonso's crashes were more often caused by mechanical failure and not driver mistakes. Alonso may not have been the most virtuous driver on the grid, but he was quite consistent in accumulating points and making the most of his car's limitations to keep Aston Martin in the mix in the constructor standings. Number 7, Yuki Tsunoda, $2.159 million. Tsunoda has never been shy to express himself aggressively on the track, and this is one of the reasons he was so entertaining to watch. However, in a sport where accuracy is critical, that aggression can cost you, often in terms of money. By the end of 2024, Yuki's crashes had accumulated a total of $2.15 million, placing him among the most expensive drivers in the F1 season. From high-speed collisions to moments of misjudgment, Tsunoda's crashes perfectly highlighted the fine line between being a bold racer and just being reckless. Even his behavior during races led to some impressive performances, but his time in the AlphaTauri car significantly increased the team's repair costs. From a financial point of view, $2.15 million is a big number, let alone for a team like AlphaTauri that doesn't have a multi-million-dollar budget like Red Bull or Ferrari. Tsunoda crashes impacted the team's capacity to carry out more upgrades and remain relevant throughout the year. Number 6, Logan Sergeant, just over $3 million. Now, Logan Sergeant's 2024 Formula One season will go down in history for all the wrong reasons. The American rookie had hopes and a vision of becoming a strong competitor on the grid at the start of the season. However, it turned into a season that was marked by challenges, resulting in a staggering $3,008,000 in crash expenses. It's never easy to join Formula One straight from the rookie level, and for Logan, the journey was particularly challenging. As a young driver, Sargent faced the daunting task of proving himself in one of the most competitive motorsports, all under the watchful eyes of fans and critics. Sadly, the numbers highlight inconsistency, lack of experience, and costly errors, which ultimately led to him parting ways with Williams during the season due to poor performance. Number 5, Carlos Sainz, $3.1 million. Carlos Sainz started the 2024 season with confidence. Ferrari was ready to get back to the level they were at before the mixed 2023 season, and Sainz was eager to prove that he could be a consistently fast driver. Though he was good in the earlier rounds, the flaws literally began to emerge as the season unfolded. Costs began adding up early in 2024. Minor incidents in China and Saudi Arabia set the tone for a season that swung between flawless performances and costly crashes. Now, while these early mashups didn't make headlines, they did quietly drain Ferrari's resources and hinted at the challenges ahead. Despite the expenses, it was still a strong season for Sainz, showcasing his skill and determination on the track. Number 4, George Russell with $3.329 million. George Russell came into the 2024 season with some expectations. As one of Mercedes' lead drivers, Russell has often been touted as the future of the team. An accurate, consistent driver capable of competing with Verstappen and Leclerc. However, 2024 told a different story, both on and off the track. Russell showcased brilliance at times during the season, but his tendency to get involved in unnecessary incidents raised concerns. Russell did not have several crashes during the season, but when he crashed, well, the impacts were severe. Number 3, Franco Colapinto, $3.436 million. Now, Franco Colapinto, born in Argentina, stepped onto the F1 grid with high expectations following a successful junior Formula career. Hailing from a country with a rich motorsport legacy, many fans from Argentina hoped that he could follow in the footsteps of legends like Juan Manuel Fangio and Carlos Reutemann. The rookie was signed by Williams for the season, but it was a difficult year for the driver and team. Colapinto's crashes did not help the team's financial issues, even though they were not exactly always exclusively his fault, but they were costly to repair. It is common for a rookie to make mistakes, and Colapinto's high-risk driving style, although entertaining, did expose him to numerous mistakes. His drive for success led to both impressive performances and some notable problems. For a team like Williams, which competes on one of the smallest budgets in F1, such mistakes were particularly damaging. Number 2, Alexander Albon, $4.664 million. Before the 2024 season, Albon had quite a few things to prove. When Williams was battling hard to bring the team back to midfield, it was time for consistency and results. For Albon, the pressure was immense. He was expected to score points and provide leadership in a team that was struggling with financial and technical challenges. However, the season took a costly turn right from the beginning. Albon's season was characterized by small but constant damages that accumulated in a very short time. In some cases, it might have been a slight tap during a wheel-to-wheel battle, or perhaps an attempt to push harder for more speed from his car. But regardless of the cause, the result was the same. The repair costs kept going up. He was responsible for $4.664 million of Williams' $9.46 million in total crash damage for the season, accounting for nearly half of the overall destruction. And number 1, Sergio Perez, $4.861 million. For Perez, the 2024 season remains one of his most challenging, both in terms of results and financial implications. The $4.861 million total is a harsh reminder of how unforgiving Formula One can be, both on the track and in the financial columns. Although these numbers are a mere percentage point of the team's total expenditures, they do show that on-track accidents are expensive. The teams put a lot of cash into their cars, and any scratch can lead to complex repairs and replacements, affecting the team's performance and cash reserves. While fans do watch and anticipate on-track action, the teams are on the receiving end of the negative impact. One thing is certain, it's not about minimizing damage to the cars, it's about safeguarding the sport and everyone involved in it. If you enjoyed revisiting the most destructive moments of the 2024 F1 season, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to stay updated on all of our future content. Also, what do you think of the top 10 destructors of the season? Let us know in the comments which moment or driver stood out to you the most. We'd love to hear your thoughts, and we'll see you on the next video.